Oliver, I wanted to leave you some feedback on your narrative. Um, Good work on this. I think that you have more than enough to work with for your personal narrative, right? So you're kind of sketching out your ideas about these different experiences that you've had, um, coming to understand race and racism as a citizen of the United States. And I think how I don't know how deeply ingrained, unfortunately, some of these attitudes are, and how your experience, because of your brother, I think primarily because of your family, and how that really shaped your worldview. So I think this um, relationship that for lack of a better word, relationship that you had with these neighbors could really be the focus of the narrative if you wanted it to be, right? So I think it's kind of like the relationship that you had with your brother, right? If you could, this little anecdote here about you asking when your skin color was going to change, uh, continue to build with your rising action, continue to build more scenes like this where you can show that you and Mark grew up in a really loving household, and you had a very strong relationship. That it wasn't until you were confronted by views of people outside your home that you really, recognized that not everyone viewed the world in the same way that you did. So I think that I also like the anecdote about becoming friends with your neighbors as well. I think it's trying to decide like where the arc is, right? Like where the turning point is. Um, so I think you could primarily focus here, right, and how these neighbors, how their attitude led to you being open minded even outside of your home. Um, but that's kind of up to you to decide. So, my point is this: you have plenty of good concrete detail to work with in this narrative. I think it's just for you figuring out what you want the arc to be. And the arc is like it's intertwined with what the main point is, right? So clearly you want to talk about issues of race and racism in the United States. So perhaps it's what specific point do you want to make about race and racism in this paper? And if you can answer that, right, that's tied to purpose. I think you can figure out what that arc can be. So what that turning point is for you. Um, I, as your reader, so as someone from the outside, I can see the turning point either being a specific interaction with those neighbors that you had, or a specific, or the development of the relationship between you and your new neighbors, right? The ones that taught you Spanish. Um, I'm gonna let you decide that, right? Because it's your story. It's the one that you want to tell. And there's nothing in this that makes me think that you can't have the fully realized narrative. You can't stretch this out into 6 pages. I think you have more than enough, but it's you figuring out what you really want that arc to be. I think that you can get there. Yeah. Um, and you have enough good, concrete, factual writing to work with here. All right. I look forward to seeing where you take it. Okay.